This is a test. For the next 30 seconds, this podcast will be conducting a test. This is only a test. Who was the 25th President of the United States? What is the capital of Vermont? Correct this sentence. I aren't going to be needing a hose. This was only a test. Thank you.
Hi, everybody!
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Well, let's start the insanity.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly Act. I was just going to keep rambling on and let this play. It's Mac and Mel.
The Mac and Mel show today.
And no Randy. Randy has some family business he's taking care of, so he'll be back next week. I was telling you, or she told you too, Yasko's wife, who was on this show like a long time ago, she keeps wanting to be on it, and then I was gonna let her sit in. And she's got an ear infection, so.
Yeah, so it's just the Eminem show today.
It is.
Not a sponsor.
Do you like Eminem, the rapper?
Oh, I was thinking like M&M's the candy.
Yeah,
but,
but also, do you like Eminem?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hardcore. I'm not going to bleach my hair or anything.
Well,
but,
I didn't say that. I just meant, do you like his music?
I mean, if it comes on, I know a lot of the words.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go see him in concert. Like, if he was in a festival with a bunch of other people, I'd be like, yeah, but I'm not. You wouldn't,
if on his tour of Eminem, you wouldn't go see a show.
If it was Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
And then maybe some Eminem, okay. But not just just Eminem.
It's kind of mood music. When I'm just pissed, I'll listen to Eminem because a lot of his stuff is angry.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, girls, remember, I don't know if it's still a thing or if it's politically correct to say, but the angry lesbian music, like, what's her face?
Oh, Alanis Morissette. Yeah. I adore her and have seen her in concert multiple times.
But I mean, like, you could, like, ladies, if they felt a certain way, they could be like, yeah, like, listen to this music and just feel,
Yeah.
It's just like anything. I mean, a lot of times your mood dictates what music you'll listen to. So
it's very true. It's very true. I mean, I can jam to some Eminem.
Yeah. If you're feeling sad and broken up with, you listen to country, I guess, or
Adele. Like that great SNL skit from a few years ago with Emma Stone, and they just keep listening to Someone Like You, and every time it plays, they just like are shoving pints of ice cream in their mouth and crying.
Nice. Did you watch SNL last week?
I did. Yeah.
Well, we'll say that for the second half. Because it was pretty good. It was a pretty good episode. Anyway, so spring break is almost over.
Yeah,
that
spring
blows.
break. Woo. Well, and it was crappy weather for the first 2.5 days of spring break.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
Which is fine with me because I didn't need it to be, I mean, if you stay home on spring break, some people want the weather to be good, but really, I mean, if you went away to the beach and it was crappy weather, then that would suck. But I guess if you stay home, I don't know, I just slept all day.
I know a lot of people that went camping, like roughing it tents style, and I thought, man, sucks to be you right now. Somebody at school was going camping this weekend too, and it was somebody that I wouldn't expect to be into that. But you've heard other people that went camping too? Yeah, there are a lot of people that were blowing up my social media with pictures of them, primitive camping and like
with their cell phone though.
Yeah, yeah, of course, with their cell phone.
They're roughing it. And then there was also this thing, this show wouldn't be this show unless we hate on Waco, but it's spring at the silos. Yeah. So forget about going downtown because we have a huge downtown, quote, air quotes.
Yeah.
An
and
awesome bumping downtown.
food truck showdowns this weekend, which also there's
Saturday.
lots of streets. Basically, unless you want to go to those things, great. But otherwise, don't go to downtown Waco because there's a lot going on.
And it's always the streets that I would use when I go down there that are closed.
Yeah.
It's not even spring yet. Stupid people. I saw there was a company, and they're probably going to, if they probably, people that follow us on social media probably don't listen at all. They just like, so we'll like them back or whatever. But there's a local company that makes shirts, and one of their posts recently was JoJo for President 2020. And I immediately unfollowed them. I'm like, God damn it. What are you doing? No. There's already enough people running. Beto said he was running.
Yeah.
And I like him, but I don't think he's going to be a contender because
it's too soon. That's what I heard on a couple of radio stations I listened to today. They were like, it's just too soon, first off, to throw your hat in the ring.
Right.
And then also,
but he's not very good at, he's more celebrity right now that he's relying on. So it is early, but if he's going to change it, I think he needs to have more substance.
Right.
Than just say, I'm here, like he was kind of like a celebrity when he went to Iowa yesterday or whatever. So,
yeah. There's someone that said he should have, I'm sure he thought it out, but it was like, if he loses to Ted Cruz and Donald Trump, come on.
Right. There's no coming back from that. You might as well go work at Starbucks.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's from Seinfeld.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Because we were talking about that before the show started.
Maybe he should become a professional skateboarder.
That's what somebody said. Yeah.
Or he could be the new Whataburger guy,
Yeah. Or he could go back and be in a punk band again.
I support all these choices.
Yeah. That's what it was, punk, right? He was in a punk band when he was younger. And that, made him unfit to be a, public office or whatever.
Okay, Zodiac Killer.
Yeah. I don't know. There's Cory Booker is looking good. You got to start sometime. It's almost, it'll be a year. It'll be November and it'll be a year away before you know it. So it's like, I understand. Yeah. I'm not nobody should commit to anybody now, but listening, just casually listening to what they're saying. People want real answers, and I was watching the thing with Beto on the cameras were following him, and he stood up on a coffee shop table and was answering questions and stuff. It was very general, very generalized answers, like about the new Green Deal and healthcare. But he wasn't. He's in Iowa. Like Iowa, you got to bring your A game in Iowa. Those aren't like professional voters. Like they just, that's all they do. So if you just have this general, we're going to, no, exactly what are you going to do? So hopefully he'll figure that out. But
yeah, there's time, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was listening to, everything just needs to be overhauled. I was listening to, do you know Colin Quinn? Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He was a question on the trivia I asked last night.
You hosted trivia?
I host trivia every Wednesday night at Barnett's Pub downtown.
Lame. But don't try to go down there this weekend.
Well, no.
Next weekend, yes.
Wednesdays, so it's during the week. You're fine.
Oh, that's right. It's yeah. Today's Thursday. I thought today was Friday. But he was on Colbert, and it was funny because he's like a cranky old guy comic now. Like he's just, which I like because I'm getting cranky and older and stuff. But he was saying he couldn't believe how the political system hasn't progressed, because he's like, we have however many genders, we have however many bathrooms, all this stuff, but we still have two political parties.
Yes.
That's how can that? Because in both parties there's subgroups in that, extreme to one side or the other or in the middle. So something needs to change.
Yeah, I feel like, was it Futurama has, when they showed the future elections on Futurama, there were all these parties, red people party or whatever, or people with three noses or.
Well, Why not?
I kind of feel like we have that anyway with some people, but just saying.
Well, we have the Orange Party, Trump. We have,
it's very colorful because you have your blue dog Democrats.
right.
And,
They should all just be represented by colors.
Yeah.
The Roy G. Biv, and then you have seven parties.
And then, or 8, because then you could have the LGBT community can make up the rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
See? And they're.
Right. That's there you go. See, Pete, they need to listen to this show and we'll just solve all of America's problems.
I mean, I'm not pro segregation, but if we're going to have multiple political parties, then
we'll solve all America's problems, but create a whole new batch of them at the same time, which is fine.
What ifs?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be, I'm the generation where I cause problems, but I don't have any answers.
Well,
I eat avocado toast. No. Yeah. Avocado toast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost thought it was guacamole. Clearly, I'm not that because I don't even know what the hell it is. And so one more thing that pisses me off. And this has been a long time because this was a theme in earlier shows. Like, I was angry all the time. Like, I just don't like anybody. People are always like, and I know this is an exaggeration, but it's like, I'm like one of those people, like, every time I need this thing off the shelf at the store, anytime I need to get over here at anywhere, there's always somebody there. Every time. There's just always, like, as soon as I go, like, today I was at the park walking around, and I walk when I just go for a walk or wherever at a store, I follow, like, the road rules. I stay to the right. But people don't do that.
No.
And I've clearly established that I'm staying to the right, and people will just come and just walk at me. They're walking on the left, and they don't brake, and I'm like, we're playing chicken, walking, and they won't do it. The other thing is people that just stand on the path, just hang out. I'm like, there's grass just to the right of it that you can stand. And then when I'm like walking around them, they give me like a look like, geez, what do you do? I'm like, well, I'm walking on this walking path. Or when they walk, like at a store or at the mall or when they're walking or running or whatever, and they'll be shoulder to shoulder across the whole thing. So you can't, you know what I mean?
It's super frustrating. There was a lady on my way over here. I stopped at Jamba Juice to get a drink, not a sponsor. And there was a lady that is just like pulling. She is like pulling on the door, and she is using all her strength, and she's starting to get pissed. And there's very clearly a sign that says, "Please use other door."
Yeah.
And she is like pissed about it. And finally, someone had to say, "Ma'am, use the other door." And she was like, "What?" Oh.
Was she white?
Yeah,
of course. Did she want to speak to the manager?
I don't know what she did by the time she got in there, but I was behind her in line, and it was horrible. But that's not.
See, that's a different kind of angry. That's like a stupid people angry. See, like everyone thinks that whatever they do is justified, but clearly my angry stuff is the right things to be mad at.
Well, I just think people are rude. So bottom line is we are very selfish in society.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I totally agree with you, but that, in theory, it's a selfishness because these people are like, well, I have every right to stand here too. And you're like, yeah, but I'm walking. So people are dicks, bottom line.
But I don't like being chastised for getting mad at people either. Like, I'm a hater. I'm like, well, wait a minute. So everyone else just gets a free pass. They could be dicks and not care. And I'm just supposed to take it up the tailpipe, I guess. Which is not one
Randy
time in
would
Mexico.
love that joke.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's in honor of him.
Yeah.
But then they're like, I also don't like it when you criticize something and they're like, well, don't watch it or what or don't do. I'm like, no, I can still bitch about it. I love that. Yeah. I love bitching about stuff. Like I just bitched about that Chip and Joanna thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but see, that's the thing. Like, it's not, okay, if I actively go to their social media or their show or whatever and watch it and get angry, then that's my fault. I don't do that. But when it comes up, like that was just randomly when I was scrolling, I didn't know that was going to be there. I didn't leave a comment because that's, why put that energy into it if you don't like it? But and then I would have got a bunch of hate because they're royalty around here, so whatever.
I mean, if someone asks my opinion, I will definitely tell you, but I try not to poke the bear. Unless the bear needs poking, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's another thing. People will just offer their opinion unsolicited. You know, like, why? Like, when I'm around my family, I try not to talk about anything that I know that we don't agree on, but some of them will bring it up just to fuck with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that? I'm not doing that. But I'm unreasonable because I'm like a socialist or whatever.
Oh, people are dicks.
Right. Except us. We're the best.
Obviously the most.
We're clearly better than everyone else.
Yeah.
We're like those, if Randy were here, it'd be perfect. Remember Billy Eichner's show, him and that girl, it wasn't called Awful People or shit.
Oh, yeah.
You remember where they were just, everyone just pissed them off, like, and I just so identified. I like that show and I can't remember that. I swear it doesn't look good if I say, I love that show, but I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah. But
because I only think of Billy on the Street when I think of Billy Eichner. I can't think of the other show he did.
Oh, I just love him on everything. Parks and Rec.
He was a good addition at the end. Too bad it was like the second to last and last season that he was on it.
He's on Bob's Burgers as the librarian, and he's so great because that librarian character is crazy. Right. So he's the perfect person for that role.
And he's loud, too. So that's perfect for a library. I mean, that's the perfect
He tries to like whisper things, but he'll be like, I told you.
Loud whispers.
It's like really
and stuff.
angry, like loud whispers.
Nice. So you had a thing. You're talking about Grant Taft. You're talking shit about Grant Taft, former coach of the Baylor Bears football team, and then you've run in. Well, you didn't run into him. He came into Barnett's when you were last night.
Yeah,
when you were doing trivia.
To clarify, I wasn't talking shit on Grant Taft.
Yes,
I just said that Baylor sucked in the '80s. Sorry to him. I know he's a legend, but they weren't great. So I did not grow up a Baylor fan.
That could be considered talking shit.
Yeah, okay.
Very mild shit.
Yeah, it's mild shit. So anyway, he walks in to Barnett's last night.
Yeah.
He's just this cute little grandpa man, and he's
pretty old by now.
Yeah,
right?
And he's got a cane. And I thought, oh my gosh, and not like he listens to this podcast, but I thought, oh man, he was just here.
But like you're like in your own personal karma, kind of like, I feel bad talking about it.
Super guilty. And then my friend was there, and he was like, "Hey, you want to meet Coach?" Because he's grown up with him and he knows him really well. And so I'm like, "Sure, I'll go talk to Grant Taft." So I go back there, and he's like, "Hey, this is my friend Melissa," and I was like, "Hi, really nice to meet you. Grew up here." And I remember going to some games. I didn't say I cheered against them.
Don't qualify it don't explain. Just say you physically went to games.
Yes. But the thing that really just, speaking of poking the bear, he was a Baylor Bear coach. That's not what I'm talking about. But he went to the rival school of my college. So I went to Hardin Simmons. He went to McMurray. He brought that up and starts talking shit about Hardin Simmons when he was there, and that like they beat them and we're the reason this. And I wanted to be like, oh man, I will take you out right here and talking smack about my school. But you should
have been like, oh, never mind. Yeah, Baylor sucked when you coached. You should. I'm so uncool and not. I would have immediately. He's like, if it were me and I had said, yeah, they sucked when he was there, I would have immediately just given that away. So he's like, hey, good to meet you. Hey, sorry I said you sucked when you coached Baylor. I'm like, oh, shit. That's not what I wanted to say.
I just was like, oh, my gosh. And then I thought, this is a little old man. I'm not going to get a squab with a little old man. But I thought, dude, what? Why would you start talking crap? I just met you.
Well, now you don't feel bad about talking crap about him, I guess. That kind of canceled it out.
We're totally, karma's done.
Yeah.
It's even. It's
come full circle.
Yeah. Later, Grant Taft. Hook 'em horns.
I used to think his name was Grant Taft. Like he was related
like he was a president.
Like he was or related or something to Howard Taft, the fattest president we've ever had.
Got stuck in a bathtub.
Right. I don't think that actually happened. I think that's
It's such a good urban legend, though.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't he?
Yeah. He's a big old dude. I like to visualize it. I mean, not like in a gross way, but like
I love picturing Grant Taft stuck in a tub.
No, not Grant Taft.
I mean, Howard Taft stuck in a tub.
Either way.
Which is bad. I mean, they're both bad. No, not Grant Taft. Howard Taft.
Oh, both are
sexy
bad.
Ass guy.
That's like Jabba the Hutt and Princess Leia in the bikini, man.
Right.
And not in the sexy way. Not Princess Leia
scarring. I want to erase it from my mind way.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you get for talking. That's what you get for talking shit about people.
Yeah.
It's just been a week.
I've been in the house all week. Like I haven't experienced things. I've just been staying around here.
Man, I just had like a bunch of random crap happen and just like processing all this random crap. And last weekend, my husband and my dog were sick. So I had to play nurse.
Your dog was sick?
Yeah, he's old. So he like the cold weather and the rain just hurt his joints and he didn't feel good. And then my husband was really sick. And so I had to play nurse. I literally, no exaggeration, went to HEB 6 times in 24 hours just for different things back and forth. And it was just so I think that just kind of the fact that my weekend was kind of bleh, kind of led into this week. But now, man, I'm on the hump. I'm on the downward slope. I'm going to Austin this weekend for South by. I'm super stoked. It's St. Patrick's Day Sunday,
South by. Good Lord.
Which is my favorite holiday, St. Patrick's Day.
What a tool.
What?
Just say South by Southwest.
No, Matt.
There's too many words.
All the cool people call it South by.
Well, I'm going to Firefest.
Oh, yeah. Good luck coming back from that one.
I know. I'm going to go get a staph infection and sleep in a FEMA tent. Did you ever see any of those documentaries? There's 2 of them.
I know there are, but I'm just like...
It's so good because like I'm such an asshole. I'm like, I just rooted against these rich kids the whole time. I'm like, I can't wait till they just fucking like are disappointed when they get there.
Speaking of rooting against rich kids.
No, we're going to talk about the second part.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do want to, because we're not going to do our, we're going to call it Animosity TV. Animosity TV. Like Animosity
TV.
Well, yeah, I was thinking it should be Animosity TV, but Animosity TV, it sounds like Animosity TV. So like when we were going to make each other watch something that we wouldn't normally. Yeah. So we'll do that next week when Randy's here, because we made him watch Friends.
And he watched
it. And he did. So we'll save that. But I did want to talk about, the other segment was the Netflix and Chill, where we talk about things that we've watched that are good.
Yeah.
Did you watch the, it's not on Netflix. Like, so it's Netflix and Chill, but this is anything anywhere. You watch anywhere. Yeah. But did you see the Michael Jackson
I have not been watching documentaries. Sorry, I'm
out.
I've been wanting to be more entertained.
They're entertaining.
I know. I mean, like,
but I'm a
need
nerd,
brainless stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We've been watching Future Man on Hulu with Josh Hutcherson from the Hunger Games, and he's like the savior of, because basically in like 20 or 30 years or whatever, the world's going to go to shit, or 300 years. I don't know. The world's going to shit.
Is it like Last Man on Earth, like the Will Forte thing?
No.
It's different than that?
It's totally different than
There's
that.
Society is still there.
Yeah, but it's bad. Totally different. So it's kind of...
Is it like Idiocracy?
It's a mixture of, there's time travel. So there's like this Back to the Future time travel, but then there's like a road warrior, kind of apocalyptic weirdness. But it's funny too. And so there's been a lot of watching.
So that's mindless though? But it's good.
Yeah, it's so good. And then, I've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, Andy Samberg's great. No, it's just we mentioned the R. Kelly thing last week, but it was interesting. I mean, it's really graphic. Like people will still say they don't believe they think Michael Jackson was fine. Like he was not weird. Like he was not a pedophile.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. Cosby, Weinstein, any of those guys, once it's like one one time ever, okay, maybe they were trying to get money. But I mean, but still, like, how can you just say that sleeping in the same bed with boys is fine?
Yeah.
Even if he didn't, let's just say he never did anything with them. It's still weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
I think Bingo farted and it really stinks.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Good Lord. And I have the window open so it's like it's like blowing. Good God, man.
Bingo.
Jesus. Anyway.
Little dog. I know we're going to talk a little bit about this later about SNL, but I wanted to say one thing. A lot of people gave shit to Pete Davidson, once again, mascot of the show, about what he said about R. Kelly. He was talking about R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and saying that
he related it to the Catholic Church is mad at him.
Yeah, of course the Catholic Church is, but what
because they've not had any problems,
right.
And they can afford that to be a whatever. Go
ahead. The thing I really liked that he said was, if we start boycotting people that have done something wrong, sexual assault or murder or rapes or whatever, we're not going to have any entertainment anymore.
Yeah.
Which doesn't justify it, but I think was a really good point because, I mean, you go as far back. I mean,
well, any talented person is weird.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, that's the trade-off that you get from being extremely talented. And I wasn't saying like we shouldn't listen to Michael Jackson, but I'm just saying he was fucking guilty. Like he was that way. But yeah, I mean, I still listen to Thriller all day.
Yeah. And what I really liked that Pete Davidson said was, okay, if you have for every time you listen to Michael Jackson or,
R. Kelly
or you binge watch Louis or whatever, to donate $1 for every song or every episode or whatever you watch to a sexual assault or some sexual abuse victims charity. And I was like, that's such a great idea, because not that it justifies you listening to those things, but I mean,
well, it's a reminder. If you listen to it and it reminds you of this thing that they did and this thing that happens, I mean, why not?
It's just the list.
And he was like, he said, I already owe $40 to because he listened to remix like 40 times already. That's such a good song because you always listen to it like when you're about to go out on the weekend.
It's the freaking weekend.
Yeah. But man, it's really, I thought like I was desensitized to stuff because I'm just a shell of a human, I don't have emotion. But man, to hear those two kids talk, like say exactly what he did, holy Lord.
Yeah.
Like it's harder to hear than I thought. Because there's a disclaimer at the beginning because they're going to say, and it's like, it's that, I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome or whatever, but even through most of that documentary, they still loved him. Even now when they talk about him, they're still like, well, I was jealous when he found when he was hanging out with Macaulay Culkin or whatever. And I'm like, what do you, and then the moms were like, yeah, the moms of the two kids were like, yeah, he's like one of my sons. And I was, I was like, what? Where are you still? Like, how can you say that? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the moms said, I'm glad he's dead. But the Australian one, well, you haven't seen it. So I'm just saying a bunch of stuff.
It's not a spoiler. I mean,
also, like, that's the thing. Didn't we know this? Like, people were getting mad at this documentary, like saying, oh, he's dead, whatever. But I'm like, but we knew this isn't news.
Yeah.
The R. Kelly thing isn't news.
Yeah.
It's just now they're addressing it.
Mm-hmm. It's
awkward silence.
No, it's true.
Well, it's mind boggling. I'm like, what do you? I don't know. And it's funny because I follow this girl on my personal social media, and she put up a thing on her story that said, why are we making black men the face of the Me Too movement? And there was R. Kelly, Jackson, Bill Cosby, and somebody else. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's a bunch of white guys that are in it too. It's not just those. I mean, Cosby just was the legendary one who did it. It was like 70 women. But I was like, what? And then, this is going to sound bad, but she is married to a black guy. And I don't know if that influenced her outrage. But there's a lot of imbalance in a lot of stuff with people of color. But there's a lot of white guys that are getting destroyed for this. So I don't think this is out of whack. No. They're all everyone's getting fucked up now.
Everyone's going down.
Yeah. Anyway, we can take a break
Yeah, sure.
and recharge. And because we're right at 30 minutes. That's exactly where I like to go to the other thing. So we'll take a break for some revenue. And we'll talk about rich kids.
Love it.
Yeah, that was the teaser for the Fire Festival. Now we got this. We can talk about more about the Saturday Night Live thing, even though we kind of already did. But I don't know, more politics.
I got some lady bits.
Oh, and lady bit. Sorry,
a lady bit, a singular bit.
A lady bit, one bit. Oh, that's fine.
I got one bit.
And a shave and a haircut.
No, that's 2 bits.
Oh yeah, so it's just a shave.
It's just a shave.
A shave, one.
Shave or a haircut.
Shave or a haircut, 1 bit.
Yes.
Okay.
If you like old school humor, there you go.
Well, that's all this show is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the joke at the top of the show, but that was gold. Anyway, all right, we'll take a break. Be right back.
More Weekly Yak coming right up. Welcome back to the Weekly Yak with Mac.
Pretend you're somewhere else and just take it.
Mel.
Not to say, that I'm a cherry, because that's been gone for a while.
Hey.
And Randy.
You have trouble finding the sweet spot sometimes.
It's the Weekly Yak.
There you go. You're officially inducted or hazed or whatever.
You picked the most perverted things all three of us really said.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be taken out of context.
And they absolutely were.
Yeah.
So enjoy.
Yep. So that's the best part of those. I love it. And then they'll continue to grow and grow because I'll take drops from every episode. So next week there'll be a new one. I'm gonna comb through this. Well, no, I won't. No, I won't do this show just because Randy's not here to do one from him. So I'll wait for the next one. So
sounds like a plan.
Yeah. No, you were talking about when you said turbulence during the break. Like those 2 plane crashes with the Boeing airplanes. Good God! And I give it to Trump. He did something right. I know it took longer than the rest of the world, but at least he grounded those planes. And it was, it's just that model. It wasn't all of them. People were like, well, but it's just that Boeing Max 8 or 7 and 8, I think it was that series Max or whatever. But I was like, why take the risk? Like, just freaking.
Yeah. You got to be safe about that stuff. They don't fool around. There was a while I felt like Ford every year was having a recall.
Yeah. It's not, and he had that tweet where he said, airplanes are too complicated now, or I don't want Albert Einstein flying my plane. I'm like, well, they are complicated, but you don't have to know what's happening in them. Like, why does it matter?
You're not flying Air Force One, buddy.
Yeah, thank God.
Ugh.
So let's do, what do we want to do first? We'll do... let's do the Pete Davidson one because we kind of already talked about that.
Pete.
And then we'll go. Yeah, he's our mask. I should just change it from the yak to just Pete Davidson's face. Because he went on. Because I thought he was coming out to talk about him and Kate Beckinsale,
which
the tongue kiss, and I thought
he did a little,
just kind of in passing, but
just the tip.
Because because he said because Colin was kind of like anything else, and he kind of just kind of glazed over it. But he was mainly talking about R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and stuff. And, but yeah, he did compare. I forget how I guess I could bring it up.
He said,
or do you remember?
I do.
How did he compare it to the Catholic?
I watched it a few times. He said, he basically said, if anyone says that they're boycotting sexual predators like R. Kelly, you might as well go ahead and boycott the Catholic Church as well.
Well, yeah.
And he said, don't get me wrong. Both are bad. He said just one has better music.
Yeah, right.
And made a great joke about his mom say she was going to mass. And he was like, cool, I'm going to sit here and listen to the remix to Ignition.
Basically the same. It's the same thing.
So, finally, I feel like the Catholic Church is starting to clean up. And they just released that huge list of all the former and current priests that had been accused, and they didn't just list them. They put their pictures and where all they had been during their career. And I thought, all right, well, that's like
I mean, they've waited too long, but they're going all out, balls to the wall with this.
This new pope he didn't fuck around.
Right.
Literally or figuratively.
I don't fuck around, and there will be no fucking around.
That's right.
And people offer suggestions on how to fix it and stuff, and I don't know how much of it is having, if you're celibate, I don't think that pushes you to molest little boys. I mean, I think that's because a lot of people say, well, if you let him marry, it'd probably help. I'm like, I don't think. I mean, it's not like you're in prison where you have to just fuck whatever's around.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you were that backed up, you could, even if you were a priest, you could go have sex with a woman and just not. You don't have to like abuse a little kid.
Yeah, there are tons of, I feel like, romantic Harlequin novels from the 80s and 70s that were about she went to a priest for absolution and instead she found a love affair.
Yeah, right. That'd be the best. Because that's not illegal in the law sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's against the rules of the law of the church, but I mean,
they're not going to jail.
Yeah. So I'm like, that would be the best. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I think these are just pedophiles. They would have been pedophiles wherever it's not that. So, and I mean, I'm sure they thought this is the best cover to do this.
Yeah.
I remember Louis C.K. had a thing, and I know he's disgraced and everything, and this is a really, like, he's disgraced, and this was also he did it on Saturday Night Live. The last time he hosted was in his monologue. But he was just saying, because a lot of times pedophiles are repeat offenders. And he's like, for how bad it is and how it destroys your life, to them, it must be pretty great to keep doing it. But but honestly, you keep risking your life and they must really love it.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and everyone's like, oh God. I'm like, well, it's true. Like, why would you continue to hurt a child and go to jail for life and you're going to get raped in jail if you go, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it must be that whatever that addiction is that they have or whatever it is must be crazy.
My mom worked in the prison system for a long time, and she said that, murderers, drug dealers, whatever, their fellow prisoners were like, whatever. But if you hurt a child or you were like a pedophile, they would, be like, we're going to watch you at night and like shank you and stuff like that, because they're like, you hurt a child. Yeah, I murdered like 50 people.
I murdered my mother, but you hurt a child.
Yeah.
What kind of a monster are you? Which that is a monster, but it's just funny that murdering a human, but as long as it's an adult, now you're good.
Yeah, I skinned people alive, but you raped a child, so you will die.
So you
tonight.
are way worse than I am. I know. Exactly. I think y'all are both pretty bad. Like, let's not be holier than thou here. Let's not think we're better than we are. If people just listen to that segment, it sounds like I am condoning or a pedophile apologist. I'm not. I'm just saying. That's just for you to go mind. For you to keep going back to it. Whatever that does for you, it must be so powerful and addictive that it's worth ruining other people's lives and your own to keep doing it. Okay, so about talking about children whose lives I like that get ruined, rich white kids that are entitled. This was so crazy. And another, like the Michael Jackson thing, like the R. Kelly thing. Of course, rich parents do this.
Yeah,
that wasn't the interesting part. I just liked that they went and took them in handcuffs and with guns and they released who the celebrities were.
Yeah,
but it was like, well, yeah, of course they do. Like, of course they bribe people. Watch out. Of course they bribe people to get their kids in.
Yeah, and then
so this is there's. This is the FBI was involved. I mean, there was like fraud where these rich celebrities and rich parents and all this they paid, they bribed admissions people and coaches to get them in or to say that they were an athlete. They photoshopped pictures of their kid's face on other athletes, or they paid somebody to take their ACT for them. And I was like, what? And I know that I think it's Lori Loughlin's kid. So his Aunt Becky was one of the celebrities, and then Felicity Huffman. Those are the only two celebrities. I think the other people are just rich.
Yeah, and business people, and of course coaches that were caught,
right.
like UT's tennis coach, who's now fired.
Yeah.
But the thing about Lori Loughlin's daughter is
it Laughlin or Laughlin? I don't know how to say it.
Whatever.
Okay.
That bitch is her daughter, who's a YouTube star in her own right.
Well, she talked about it. She talked about how, I'm probably not going to. Is that what you're talking?
Well, she just said,
blew it
I
off.
read a lot of things about her, and she very clearly said that she wasn't really quote unquote college material. And she really didn't feel like going. She didn't want to go to college. She wanted to focus on her YouTube career.
Jesus.
And her parents forced her because they wanted her to have a life that she didn't have. So right then and there, you're like,
that's just as bad as some dad making their kid play Little League just because, forcing him and being a dick about it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of kids didn't know. And so they were saying, should they be expelled? I'm like, well, they should be. I mean, if they actually want to go to college, don't ban them from the school. Like, let them try to get in the right way if they want, especially if it's a kid that didn't know. One of the kid, a daughter of like some energy company CEO or something. Like, it was a private citizen. It wasn't a celebrity. They were talking about it. Like, she knew what her dad did, and he had to step down as CEO. I forget the name of the place.
I don't know, but there are always people that are like, "Oh, here's a lot of money to throw your way to build a building in my name.
Right.
If you'll let my grandchild,
you want
whatever.
a new library, do you? So
I mean, that's happened forever, but the thing that I've seen a lot on is...
But the bribery, actually bribing, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I guess throwing money and having them build a library, that's got like legal bribery, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's a donation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
But I was just saying that, it's another way that the higher education system is broken because there are so many students out there that want to go and they can't afford it.
Yep.
And, the costs keep rising, and, there are students that do want to go, and then there are these people that don't want to go and probably flunk out because they're partying too much. And
who knows? They probably get bribed when they flunk out. Then they probably bribe somebody to give them a degree,
And that's been going on forever in athletics, as you see and hear for decades in college athletics. But surprise, no. I mean, that has been, in theory, zapped. You don't hear as much about that anymore. Not saying it doesn't still happen.
But people are just kind of immune to them. They're like, oh, well, that's just how it is.
But now you've got all these, entitled people that feel like they've got to pay to get their kid into school, and it's not.
Well, any of the kids that were completely in the dark, that's got to be like a kick in the face. Like, oh man, my mom and dad thought it was too dumb, so they had to bribe somebody. Like, because the one kid they had, they paid a proctor to take the SAT, and then they gave the kid a dummy one so they wouldn't know that somebody else was doing it. And I'm like, that's got to suck. Like, man, my parents didn't even believe in me.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. And then, they really should transfer if they want to stay in school somewhere else, because otherwise people are going to talk shit about them.
Like a less prestigious. They got to go to community college for a year, and then that's their penance. That's their sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, community college or just a state school. Oh, state.
Go somewhere like Small Fries, or go to a religious school where they have to go to chapel and
and that keeps them from doing crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because our school here.
Yeah. Well, I went to one of those too, and here I am.
Right. Just a heathen.
Yeah. That's me.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah.
But it's just great that this. I'm like, yeah, you can't just buy. I mean, it just shows. I mean, it's come full circle. It's just everything, like entertainment, music, politics. I mean, everyone that has a way to get ahead uses it, and nobody is anywhere because they earned it, really. Yeah. I mean, Kushner, his his parents donated like millions to Harvard. That's how he got in. So,
it's ridiculous. It's really sad just because of how many want to do it. And like you said, those students that they didn't realize, oh my gosh, sorry, Bingo just licked me and the microphone there.
He tongue kissed you. It was like watching Pete Davidson and Kate Beckinsale.
So, but I'm sad for those students that either their parents didn't believe in them or that are dying and working their ass off to get into college and they can't afford it and working 3 jobs so they can remain in college. And then there's these assholes that brought their way in. So, yeah,
because, I mean, you remember there were like child stars who would leave TV shows to go to college. I mean, I'm sure it helped that they were famous or whatever, but they kind of did it. It was their choice. They wanted to go to college, and a lot of them graduated. I mean, they have a master's degree. I mean, I think isn't that Mayim Bialik? I think she's like a rocket scientist.
She's got a PhD.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not all. I mean, I'm sure that that helps with tuition to be rich and everything. But if you do it the right way and you finish and then that's fine. But this is just It's just everything's broken. Just everything's broken.
Back to the beginning. Everyone's dicks. Right. Everyone is a dick.
Everyone's dicks. Everyone's dicks what? But yeah. So yeah, again, it's not a surprise. It's just interesting on who was named in it. And then and it's not. It's just the flat out bribery because, I mean, I'm sure rich parents will, I mean, they have money for tutors and all this stuff, and that's fine. I mean, that's just using what you have the right way. If you have somebody tutor you on the SATs or, but not have somebody take it for you.
Yeah.
So, whenever I had to take any kind of test, like to be a teacher or any of those, $120 tests or whatever, I mean, I just had to buy a book.
Yeah.
Like, that was my help. And the books were freaking expensive too.
Yeah, like $40, and you had to, and they were super thick, and you had to.
Is my GRE book over there? I don't know if it's over there by the wall.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
See it? Look how thick that motherfucker is. Yeah. The GRE that blows. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, you want to finish off with a lady bit?
Yeah,
one bit.
I got one bit. So, as you know, and unless you've been under a rock, people. That Captain Marvel was released last weekend. I've not seen it yet because my husband had the plague last week.
Oh.
And
bubonic plague?
Yeah, there were he was playing with little rats and
gotcha. Yeah.
Anyway, so he was sick, so I haven't got to see it yet. Actually, that's on my docket for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But one thing, is as I've tried to talk about it in my lady bits, is I get angry and I get frustrated a lot at the world, but a lot of times I think women talking shit about other women is bad and unwarranted. And, there's a lot of, we need to be building each other up, not tearing each other down. And one such incident is everybody's trying to pit Brie Larson and Captain Marvel against Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman. And here's the thing. If you
so for non-nerds.
So
the cool people like me.
Marvel versus DC.
Okay, but so Brie Larson is playing
Captain Marvel.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. The actress and the role, and then Gal Gadot is
Wonder Woman.
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
And besides the fact that they're Marvel versus DC, also the fact that those two franchises Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman movie, and Captain Marvel have proved to be two of the most successful films in both of those respective comic franchises. Captain Marvel broke tons of records last week, and Wonder Woman did too, and is one of the best, highest grossing, best reviewed films in the DC universe, especially this modern shitty DC universe.
Well, and another thing, is it historic because Captain Marvel's a lady?
Well, yeah.
Or has she always been a lady? I don't know Captain Marvel. Was it normally a guy or was it a girl?
It's a lady. It's been a lady.
Okay.
And the thing is, if anybody that knows me knows, I love Wonder Woman. I have loved her since I was a child.
I've seen your office is
my
nothing
office
but
is
Wonder
all
Woman.
Wonder Woman themed. I am a pretty big Wonder Woman fan, but that doesn't take away the fact that I'm not stoked to see Captain Marvel. I'm totally excited. And, you know, there have been some tweets that have come out that have been like, oh, you know, and and there's always in comic book nerddom, a Marvel versus DC thing. And I enjoy both. Wonder Woman's really my only DC thing, but I pretty much love all of Marvel. I like, you know, the X-Men are my jam. Guardians are good. You know, the Avengers.
That's the only one I've told that story where somebody made me go and I was like, man, this is great. And then I went and saw the second one. So if you ever want to talk about that, I can do it, but that's it.
I do enjoy. Well, so on Friday, Gal Gadot, somebody drew a picture of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman with Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Okay.
And Gal Gadot posted on Instagram and said, I'm so happy for you, sister. Congrats. And tagged Brie Larson, which is, you know, awesome. And, you know, the film earned $455 million last weekend,
Damn.
Captain Marvel. And
That's opening weekend.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it was hugely successful. But of course, everybody has, you know, they both wear red, blue, and gold. And they're both women leads and all of these things. And people keep comparing the two.
Mm-hmm.
And, or if not comparing, saying, well, this one's better than the other one. But bottom line is, it's awesome for once, for girls to have a superhero to look up to.
And a choice of superheroes to look up to.
And why can't you just like a boy? You ask a little boy, you know, who's your favorite superhero? And they're going to probably list a couple. It'll be like Spider-Man. Oh, and, you know, Captain America or whatever.
Superman and Batman.
Or Batman.
All of them. Yeah.
You know, they're going to say both. And we went on, as much as I do enjoy some of the Disney princess things, there was that whole princess culture, in my opinion, has caused some, you know, entitlement for a lot of girls. And so I love this, you know. For me, I grew up watching Linda Carter Wonder Woman TV show, and that's one reason I love Wonder Woman. And, you know, I had her, and then I had Daisy Duke from Dukes of Hazzard. So I was like, I just want to grow up and kick ass.
Yeah.
And I watched the princess movies, but I never said I want to grow up and be a princess.
Yeah.
I said I want to grow up and be Wonder Woman. Or, you know, I bought a Jeep for a long time, named it Daisy, because I'd always wanted a Jeep because of Daisy Duke, you know. And
the TV show, not the movie version of it. That sucked. Okay.
Catherine Bach, the original.
Yeah, not maybe
Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, and so I love the idea now that young girls can have some superheroes to grow up. I mean, yeah, there's Gamora and there's Black Widow, and yeah, there are some others, but they're a part of a collective, and they're
like an ensemble.
They're an ensemble, and here we finally have two strong women superheroes that are kicking ass and supporting each other on social media, and that's how it should be. And you know, we're so easy to tear each other down. We talked about that in Normalty, but girls are very bad about tearing each other down. So I love the idea of these two kick-ass superheroes that they don't need a man. They'll show you who's boss and burn this mofo down. And now we have a whole new generation of girls that can grow up and be like, oh, man, Captain Marvel was my hero. Or, oh, I loved Wonder Woman. Or, oh, I love them both. Like, that's how it should be. And that's my lady bit.
As long as they're nerds and they watch that stuff. Not the cool girls. They watch. No, I'm just kidding. Like, I'm cool.
Oh, and Princess Leia. Totally forgot about her. How could I forget about her? She was another hero because she was pretty, yes, too. But
she was independent, and she didn't need,
She didn't need no Han Solo.
Yeah.
It was her choice to love him.
Right. Well, he helped. She didn't need him to survive.
Right.
Like, she did stuff herself, but it's just like anybody. Like, oh, I could use your help. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, she handled Jabba the Hutt.
Exactly.
Herself. So.
In her sexy bikini, she strangled that dude.
Yeah, right.
People have been trying to do that for years. So, yeah, those are my
That's good.
My thoughts.
Your bits.
My bits. My bit. Singular bit.
So, but it is a lot of girls that are shitting on the other if they support.
Well, there was honestly the most of the shitting had come from men. And, you know, they're like, oh, Captain Marvel's way better
Were
than
they
Wonder Woman.
mansplaining the thing? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I love the fact that there are a lot of people, there were some people making signs that said, in this house, we appreciate Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel. And I'm like, yeah. I need that sign for my front door.
You can like chocolate and vanilla ice cream.
Right.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
And, you know, if you talk to like a lot of comic book people, they're not going to be like, you know, they may love Marvel, but they'll be like, Batman's awesome. I mean, Stan Lee said that. I heard Stan Lee talk at a Comic-Con, and of course, he is Mr. Marvel. Right. But he was like, Batman's a good character. Yeah,
did you see that? There's a good, I know you don't like documentaries, but on Hulu, it's a documentary about, you know, because Bill Finger is now credited co-creator of Batman and a lot of the characters.
There's actually a play that was written by Bill Finger's, like, either grandchild or something that ended up in my hands when I first moved here, and I have a copy of it. They wanted me to find a place to produce and do it. It's so good, and it's about the whole, you know, that whole story about, you know, Bill Kane taking the idea and how he did this, and, you know, how Bob Kane.
Yeah. He was already in whatever DC was called before. I forget what it was called before it was DC. He was already like established, and Bill Finger was just some artist, and he just had him do all that. And then he went into the big meeting with the businessmen and said, "Hey, look at what I did," and didn't even, you know.
Yeah, it's a interesting story.
Because I mean, most of it, Batman, the costume, the Joker. I mean, most of the iconic villains were him. Mm-hmm. Like, because have you seen that documentary though? It's really good.
I haven't. I want to, because
Bill and Me, or something like that.
I want to watch it because that's my kind of jam. And I have read the play, and I knew a lot of this. I'd also read The Secret History of Wonder Woman, which that is an interesting story, because William Marston, who created Wonder Woman, was a polygamist and was like super into feminist rights, so much so that he married 2 women and fathered children from both the women, and they lived in one house together as one big happy family, which is, okay, that's weird. Or, there's a TV show. There have been TV shows like Big Love about this, but guys, this was in the 1920s. Yeah. You know, it's like almost 100 years ago, and how they had to handle that situation. And it's so interesting. It was a really good read. And it makes you, and I also forgot to mention, they were really into S&M. And they were saying,
that didn't exist back then.
But they were saying that's why, like, Wonder Woman has her lasso of truth. Is because if you tie people up, you can find out anything you want to know. And I was like,
that's a pretty helpless feeling, to be tied up and not be in control. So I can see that.
It's pretty interesting book. So there's Melissa Reed's. Check out The Secret History.
There's another Melissa's Book Club.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna
suck
take
that,
over.
Oprah.
Yeah, right. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. I didn't know how it was like when, like if you had a, forget it. Never mind.
Yeah, words are hard.
Yeah. Well, no, this scenario. I was thinking about this scenario. Doesn't really illustrate what I wanted it to. It wasn't right. So yeah. Normally I push through and just sound like an idiot anyway, but I was like, nah, let's say that. Yeah. Anything else? I mean,
no.
You're so low energy without Randy. I'm sorry that he's not here,
guys,
and you had to do it with me.
No, it's cool. It's just been a long week, long day, and I've been #MeTooing over here with Bingo the whole time.
I'm sorry, he's so handsy.
Bingo's handsy, guys. You just have no idea. I've got dog hair in my mouth, and I got kissed on mic. You can go back and hear that. Yes. For sure.
Yeah. If you can find it, you win nothing.
So. You win nothing. So
I was thinking about actually getting some stuff to give away.
Yeah, swag.
Yeah, like some coffee mugs or T-shirts and stuff.
Stickers. People love stickers.
Yeah. Good. And that's what I was thinking. If we had some bigger items and then just put some stickers in that, And so I don't know. Maybe that would make people listen if we promise free shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take anything that's free.
Yeah, why not? Free stuff's the best stuff.
Right? Free home enema kit. Yes, it's free.
Doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but it's free, and I'll take it home with me.
I'll take it.
Put it in the trash there, or re-gift it as a great white elephant gift.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
because you could say, "Well, you've always got something up your ass."
Yeah,
perfect.
Great. Totally.
Anyway, so anything? You're not
nothing going
performing or
on.
anything?
No, I got a little bit of a break, and happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Oh yeah, Sunday, St. Patrick's Day.
I plan on waking and drinking all day and celebrating my Irishness.
I'm gonna have. I love Irish car bombs.
Oh my God, that's too much for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, yeah, I'm going to drink and do all this stuff, and then you make me feel like a alcoholic.
I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna lose count of how many Guinnesses I drink. I think so.
Well, it's just, I mean, Irish combo is just Guinness and Bailey's.
Yeah, this is the Bailey's, man. I like Bailey's separate.
Oh, okay. Well, the Bailey's makes me be able to stomach the Guinness just because it's so. I just can't. It's like motor oil.
Man,
I'm not a man. Hey, that's not like I can be whatever I want.
Yeah,
like,
that's right. I just me too'd you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right. So, was this fine? Did you feel awkward?
No.
I do have you tied up. By the way.
Yeah, the lasso of truth.
Yeah. Anyway,
so what else?
Well, that was good. But Randy will be back next week, so me and Melissa won't have to pretend we like each other.
Yeah.
Now we like each other. All right. Thanks, Melissa. That was good. You can say goodbye or whatever.
I was going to.
Well, I just put a gag on her so she couldn't talk.
Yeah, sorry. It got real dark at the end of this episode.
That's all right.
Have a great week.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time right here on the Weekly Ag. Goodbye. Bye.
That was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Yak.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Check us out at weeklyyak.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Lighthouses rule.
And subscribe to us on iTunes.
Keep looking up, because that's where it all is.